If you watch the video, please support me with 1 like and 1 channel subscription. Thank you. Many years ago, the real world and the alien world began to intersect. Making people surprised is the monster that rushed out from the alien dimension, this time with a height similar to countless urban monsters. In a flash eyes, the urban monster has become a real existence. That humans awakened, claiming to be a hunter and being transferred to a university city. Of course, all of the above has nothing to do with me. Li Xiao think, the bread seller. Look at the young man standing in front of his stall, happily smiling and asking, "What does Little Black want to eat this morning? Bread or donuts?" Bread goes no, still donuts go. Until now, the probability of the door appearing is very low, and has not yet turned upside down to the lives of ordinary people. Too much society and transportation are normal. Li Xiaowei looked at the cakes in front of him thoughtfully. But looking at the bread, it seems very delicious, but donuts are a little cheaper. He stood there thinking for a while. Still decided to tell the seller, "No, still change, let me get some bread and wait a bit. Still donuts." Since the devil came now. Li Xiaohei is a normal person first, living a life almost no different from before Kier. Xiaohei to hands holding to bags of cakes, then sighing. Difficulty choosing disease still the same. He carried the bag of cakes and passed by to classmates in class. Li Xiaohei also has a fear of communication. Xiaohei put the cake on the table and slowly sat down. His eyes still couldn't leave the 2 female classmates in front. The 2 girls were engrossed in their conversation and didn't notice. Lin Thinan took out her perfume. "Give it to the girl next to you next. Smell the same. Really like this perfume." Suddenly she turned back towards Li Xiaowei. Li Xiaowei has a secret crush on Lin Xia. Lin Xia looked at him and smiled fresh, then raised his hand to signal to. "You Little Black," said good morning. Li Xiaohei saw that and was extremely confused. His face turned red, embarrassed, looked away, and also stuttered hello. "Good morning." Li Xiaohei fell into silence again. "But I have never confessed, because I have not dared to do something rash. If life can also be like going to buy food morning, then it's good if you hesitate between choices. Then try all the choices at once. In general, if I can experience countless different lives, then it's good in the end, can choose out the best life from in which to live." Li Xiaohei thought. He was absent-minded, put his hand on his chin, and looked out the window. There was a spider spinning a web out there. Li Xiaohei stared at the spider, looked at it for a while, then he looked back, sigh, thinking nonsense again. Life is AW, has a way to turn back. HOW, can there be such a good thing? Able to experience countless different lives. Should still be honest? Living such a peaceful life is good. Suddenly, while Li Xiaowei was lost in thought, a strange red light appeared, making Zhou pay attention to what was outside the window. A Sao door. A giant circle appeared in the sky. It looked like a space door. It looked extremely mysterious and scared. All the classmates in the class at this time also discovered that door. They all made a fuss and asked each other in fear, "What happened? What happened? It's not right. It's not right." A person who still doesn't understand the story, what happened then? A random hand unexpectedly pushed the classroom door open and rushed in. A guy in a school uniform, but it looked like a monster, appeared. His eyes and mouth were sewn shut. Around him there were also head with only teeth. Extremely scary. His mouth was sewn shut, but still smiled at Ra. Around that guy, Ra emitted a terrifying aura. He entered the classroom, causing everyone to not know fear. Li Xiaohei is no exception. He stood up and asked in great surprise. This is the one he was so scared that he could only say the words. "The devil Sao." That devil looked extremely excited. He laughed loudly and shouted, starting roll call, "Students." With an extremely scary tone, he continued, making the classmates sitting next to Lam Thina scared. The first person to say hello, me Sao, me. Classmate Kier just stuttered corn. Before she could say anything, boom, her head exploded. Quickly it shot out and splattered, shot onto the face of Lam Thina sitting next to her, scared her to the point of freezing. The sand surface has no more blood. Li Xiaohei witnessed the scene just now, and was extremely scared, exclaimed, and asked what the hell. That guy laughed loudly. It seemed he was extremely pleased with the work he had just created. He stopped laughing. His tone was dangerous and extremely scary. Ask the next person whose turn is this. Everyone heard that and was scared and started to run away. Everyone was trying to use all their strength born to lao Ra out the door. The demon Kier saw that and became even more pleased. Han was not hasty, but continued to stand there reading his name. Reading the name AI, that person's head exploded. One AI among them was the exception. Fang Cc Gao Yang Gao Yil Yang. Hot Lin Jin picks up Jin Hua Hua. Li Xiaohei stood in a corner, trembling and wondering. What the hell is this figure of Ling coming to my school like this? The classmates who ran out of the classroom door were all 7 defeated. If I jumped out of the door notebook, then maybe there is still a chance to live. Body can't help but keep on tremble. Must be quick. Suddenly his eyes looked forward and stopped. Lin Thina still stood rooted to the spot. Her whole body was trembling nonstop, watching each classmate fall. Once again, Li Xiaowai must face between choices once again. Follow the survival instinct, or follow your conscience. What makes him feel surprised is, this is the first time in his life you can make such a quick decision. Zhao He did not hesitate to reach out his hand to Lin Xia, who was trembling in front. His other hand quickly opened the window. Li Zhaohei shouted loudly to call his friend Lin Xia and hold my hand quickly. Can't run out through the classroom door. Jump out the window with me. Can save one person, then one person go. Your life before Kier was as calm as dead water. Life after this of yours, maybe there will be big waves. Lin Thina saw someone reaching out to her. She also hurriedly ran over, reaching out to him. She with 2 lines of tears flowing, hurry rushed to bring Tay to Lai Duhak. But it seemed like it was too late. That devil at this time called Lam Thina. Lai Duhak in the scene of extreme despair and suffering. The smell of blood made people nauseous. After that they died. Suddenly Lai Duhak woke up province. You're still alive. You looked at the 2 hands. I saw myself in front of me and wondered, am I dead? Then you looked forward again. The same scene as before appeared again. Li Zhaohei hurriedly denied. No, not true. Lin Thina turned around again, raised her hand to greet Lai Duhak, exactly like what happened before. Good morning, friend Duhak. Li Duhak was extremely surprised when he saw that, however. Ask myself one more question. I'm not dead yet, Cao. I returned a moment before the ghostly figure of Lam Cao. Suddenly 2 chirping sounds rang out. A system screen displayed in front of Li Xiaowei, making him another surprised fan. He read the information on the screen. What is this? Future deduction performance skills. Could it be that all the things just now all are what happened in my future speculation? He looked at the bread on the table. Only I can see this bread. Other classmates seem to not be able to see it. Meaning the life. 10 minutes of my future might be like a breakfast. Try all the options at once, Cao. Then, choose the best answer from the countless possibilities. Cao Li Xiaoblack smiled with satisfaction. Just deduce the future. What happens in 10 minutes of the future? Then I can find a way to live. Li Zhaohei looked out the window in amazement. I remember when that spider fell completely. That was the moment when the devil descended. Time cannot pass. Cannot go back. I didn't even have time to think. He continued to look at the spider and remember the scary scene just now, then made a decision. I must immediately peek at the entire future. The system now displays a notification. Future deduction skill activated. Deduction state begins. Enter deduction state. And notification. Li Zhaohai's eyes immediately lit up. He stood up, slammed the table, and shouted loudly, the devil is about to descend. Everyone run away quickly. After saying that, Li Zhaohei immediately stood up and left his seat. He ran away really fast, thinking as he ran, the urgent matter at hand is to make everyone run away from this classroom. Then he said he quickly ran up to the podium lecture, then stopped standing in front of the classmates, screamed loudly again, the devil is about to enter through the door. Can't go out through the door. Jump out the window with me. But in contrast to urgent attitude of you then, the whole class is silent, no voice, no one moved. Seeing Li Xiaowei like that, he was a little worried. Turning to talk to Lin Xia. Lin Xia also felt uneasy, right? What's wrong with him? So scary. He's so weird. seeing the distrustful attitude of his classmates. Then Li Xiaohei started to get impatient. Not before, when everyone's seeing the demons descend with his own eyes. Then he would not be able to believe what he said. But wait, after the demons descended, he would not have time to run, while he was lost in his thoughts. A terrifying force began to approach from behind. The devil boy from earlier has appeared. It's still the same scary face and that sinister smile. It stood behind Li Xiaohei. Emitting a strong murderous aura, he spoke. Let's start the roll call, students. Another familiar saying that. Li Xiaohei had completely lost his composure at this time. His face was bloodless. The first person to ding ding. The system announced again. Future deduction skill ended state. Deduction ended return status. Actually, after the announcement ended. Also the time when Li Xiaohei returned. Time before the ghost appeared. His face darkened to the handle slammed down on the table. Experience that bloody scene again. Makes Cho Lai Tu Hack feel nauseous. His hand hurriedly covers his chest and coughs loudly. Vomiting. Disgusting scene. Disgusting smell of blood. Disgusting ending. Li Tu Hack sits behind, vomiting non-stop. Made Cho Lam Thi Na sat in front. Pay attention to. He vomited for a while, then turned to look at everyone around. If he couldn't persuade his classmates to run before the devil descended, then what could he do? Is to prevent the demon from entering. He looked towards the door. But the demon will enter soon. As long as I keep locking in front of the classroom door, waiting for the students to realize the subject of descent, they will be able to multiply the gap before the ghost has not entered and escape out of the window. Li Xiaohei continues to enter the state of deduction. You stand up again and run really fast. Li Xiaohei tries his best. Can run toward the door. He ran, then bumped into a classmate who was lighting a cigarette. I saw Lai Tu Hack crash into. I didn't even apologize, then I shouted angrily. This kid runs so fast. Is there a ghost chasing him? Li Xiaohei ran over, slammed the door shut with a bang. Then he reached out and locked it. Then spread out his two arms, standing firmly in front of the door. As long as I can stop the devil from entering into. Kia's eerie voice was heard again. Behind the door. Li Xiaohei couldn't help but, and gritted his teeth and shivered. Let's start the roll call, students. In some magical way there, the demon poked its head through the door. Its familiar voice and tone continued to speak. This time everything seemed to remain unchanged. The first person to strike a chord, a bloody scene appeared again before Li Xiaohei's eyes. Ding Dian's blood splashed onto his face. Future deduction command skill ended. Li Xiaohei was brought back to his seat. The time before everything happened. He was extremely helpless when he tried to change everything but can't. Sound through the door. Just hearing the noise, everyone will die. Can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Can't anymore. His whole body trembled the storm. Two fists clenched. Couldn't help but curse. I don't want to see those scenes anymore. Even though I know it's just an act. Scene and feeling of death still really makes others can't breathe. Suddenly his eyes open wide. It seems like Li Xiaohei suddenly realized something. Wait, why didn't I run first? Why must I save them? Me and the people in this classroom, basically not yet at the level of being life and death friends. I don't even know them. And those who don't even know their names. After those thoughts exploded, a feeling of hesitation flooded into Li Xiaohei's heart again. Again I am faced with a choice. To follow my instinct to live, or follow your conscience. While you are most stressed, suddenly there is an extremely pleasant scent from somewhere flying, making you unable to help but pay attention. At this time from behind, a hand was extended and patted Li Xiaohei's shoulder. What's that smell? It smells so fresh. Li Xiaohei also turned his head back. That's classmate Lin Shi. She saw that his attitude wasn't very good, so she had good intentions and went to ask visit. Xiaohei, are you not feeling well? Ding Dian is below. Also turned to look at him with a worried expression. Ask your classmate. Your complexion is very bad. I'll call the school nurse for you. Good, I'm going to buy medicine for you. The two big guys sitting next to you also turned to ask. You and these two people don't seem to know each other. Don't even know their names. Did you eat something that gave you a stomachache today? Vomiting like this, skip school and go home to rest for a bit. Go. Wait a moment, if the teacher calls the roll, I will help you call yes. For this sudden attention of your classmates causes Li Xiao's previous thoughts totally disappear. He sat there in a daze, continued to think. It was a long time later that I understood one thing. The first time I unconsciously chose, often revealing myself, true inner feelings. He recalled the initial scene, when he extended his hand towards his classmate Lam Thina, without any hesitation. So no matter how many times history repeats itself, people will still make the same choice now. You can make your own decision. Continued following that, Li Xiaohe closed his eyes. He opened his eyes with a determined demeanor in mind. Future deduction launched. Li Xiaohe continues to enter the deduction state. This time he decides to attack the demon first. He grabs the chair and rushes while it's starting again, repeating the familiar words. Let's start the roll call, students. If I attack it first. But this time is different from the previous times. The first person the demon called the roll call, that was Li Xiaohe. When the demon Kier just finished reading his name, then his head exploded. He also recognized it. Even changed the order of the roll call to counterattack himself. After the last performance, Continue 7 system failure has appeared. Notification that your divine power points have been deducted by 12 points. Li Xiaohe has now reassured himself. See, I am dead. The more greedy, the more desperate, the more spiritual power is consumed. Calm down, calm down. You continue to return to the previous time, when everything happened. The state of deduction ended. Entering the state of deduction, Li Xiaohe again. Always trying to think of every way to change the situation face. This time, you have chosen push the classmate who was called out first. Ding ding ding, out the window to let her escape. You think about, what about how to get everyone out one by one? Even though you tried so hard. But the devil didn't give him a chance. First person Ding Ding Ding, second person Li Xiaohe. Both he and his classmates had not yet escaped from the window. Then their heads were blown up. He tried everything, but failed. Li Xiao's spiritual power point black, again deducted by the system, continued according to him. He chose to hide under the table. This seemed to mean nothing to the demon. When it continued to read his name, hiding was not possible yet. Every time he died, his spirit power points were deducted. After many experiences, he realized one thing. The demon's attack seemed to follow a certain rule. What rule is that? Li Xiaohe still couldn't find the answer he wanted. Continued after that. He was called out countless times, and then died, and then came back. Spirit power points were countless. After many times like generation, the system issued an emergency warning. Spiritual power is gone. The future forced end. His spiritual power now only has 1 in 100 years. 7 only one last time, let him come back. Li Xiaohe glanced out the window. He knew it was coming again then. That familiar spider Kier appeared again. It was the scene of a classmate. Lin Thina came forward and patted his shoulder to ask. Li Xiaohe turned his head and wondered. It was that familiar scent. It must be classmate Lam Thina Sao. The two people now looked at each other. Around Lam Thina, emitting an extremely pleasant scent. Li Xiaohe looked at Lam Thina. It seemed like he had realized something. He was stunned for about 5 seconds. This is what made Cho Lai Tiu Hak stunned. It was the bottle of perfume in Tay Lam Thi's hand. Li Tiu Hak suddenly became excited again. He was glad he knew how to break the situation. Li Tiu Hak stood up and hit table, according to the inference starting from this point. Until the monster enters the meeting room, killing his classmates. He stood there calculating for a while, then decided to shout loudly, startling his classmates. Lin Thina sat far away and immediately noticed. About 30 seconds left. Earthquake ha earthquake Sao classmate. Lin Thina anxiously turned to ask Homan. Her forehead was covered with a little sweat. Do we need to go to the schoolyard to hide? No. Li Xiaohe is extremely nervous. I don't know if my plan this time will be successful. Will it be successful? He stood there counting down the time. The classmates are also hesitating between the choices. 30 seconds to 9 seconds. To 8 seconds, it really felt like it was shaking. Seeing people don't believe it, but just sat there looking at you bewildered. First, I can't say that the monster came. They definitely won't believe. I should fool everyone with a story, which can't be confirmed true or false. Like a land. Just thinking, he rushed forward, reaching out his hand towards Lam Thina's perfume bottle. Before her surprised gaze, Li Tiu Hak snatched the perfume bottle and ran away. Lam Thina, and Deem just sat there, looking at his back, confused. Little Black ran quickly forward, pointing at the window and shouting. Taking the usual route is to roundabout and won't make it in time. Everyone, please jump out through the window. Everyone, please. Passing the window and jumping from the second floor. The entire classroom is now divided into 2 factions. One faction is in a hurry because they believe there is an earthquake. The other faction is still sitting there because they don't believe it. Little Black feels quite lucky. Luckily, this classroom is on the second floor too. The big guy sat there leisurely, taking out a cigarette to smoke, then suddenly felt. The more Sal spoke, the more it felt like it was shaking. He had just finished speaking. Then the pack of cigarettes in his hand was snatched away by that AI, making him extremely puzzled and surprised that Zhao He had run over, snatching his half-smoked cigarette pack. This made him angry and yelled. Zhao He didn't seem to care about that, but just continued his plan. Me goes chasing you, brat. Must get everyone out of the classroom before the monster comes in. Ignoring the angry friend behind, Li Zhaohe is still counting down the time himself. The monster appears present, then told himself to try to help as many people escape as possible. Then he ran to, snatching Ding Dian's music player, while she was talking to Linthi. Is the earthquake real? Run first and think later. He ran up to the podium, looking at everyone still hesitating. But the chaotic scene doesn't have enough time. Need more time to evacuate everyone. Time is only 20 seconds left more. There are still people who don't believe, but call everyone a bunch of idiots. And some classmates are sleeping and don't know anything. Li Xiaowei is even more nervous. There are a few other students who haven't moved from their seats. The monster is about to enter the classroom. It's impossible to herd everyone out of the classroom. He decided to shout loudly again, telling everyone to run away. The classmates were also scared at this time and started running towards the door notebook. According to Zhao Hai's words, he looked at people jumping from the window. Then he felt a little relieved. Fortunately, some classmates ran out. But the monster was about to come. Suddenly, the sky shone a red light, caused the classmates standing at the window to stop, standing and watching them talk to each other. The sky seems to be getting darker. What's in the sky? A door, Sao. The door that brings the monster has appeared. Countdown, only 10 seconds left, 11 seconds left. At this, Li Zhaohe has to make a decision himself. Everyone is still standing there in confusion. Then the monster has arrived. Cheers rang out. Save everyone, run quickly. The monster is about to invade our school, Sao. Time is only 10 seconds left. Li Xiaoyi has plugged in Ding Dian's music player. The signal is on the speaker. Half of the classmates have run out, but only 10 seconds left. Music from the phone starts to play on the speaker at extremely high volume because there were only 10 seconds left. There was no time to evacuate the other half. The students were quite surprised when the music was suddenly turned on at a high volume. 9 seconds left. People were still escaping through the windows. Music still being broadcast. Zhao He thought so. What can he do? He looked towards the classroom door, about to be opened by the monster. That is after the monster enters the classroom. Prevent it from attacking the classmates with 7 seconds left. Zhao He took out the matchbox from earlier, robbed his classmate who was smoking, and lit it. Before, he always made logical guesses. What was the monster attack? The monster was walking outside Lang, gradually approaching the classroom of Zhao He. Then among Zhao Hai's guesses, you put the fire bait in Linthi's perfume bottle. You guess, give an answer. After to that thing, contact each other. Then immediately ignite, creating a bomb. For seconds left, so use your hand to push the door out. Each time the monster calls the roll call. Roll call is its only trick. 3 seconds left. The monster opened the door and walked in. It shouted excitedly, but didn't finish. Started to point the black on the other side and let out a breath. Then took the momentum to throw the bomb. I'll make it myself. So its attack logic is, the burning jar in Light Yu Hack's hand is about to be thrown by him. With 2 seconds left, Yu Hack threw the jar straight at the monster. The burning jar was rushing towards him at the same time. The monster also shouted the name Mun. It opened its mouth, creating an opportunity for the little black to aim at Mun and throw. He decided to attack the sound wave for a second. The last second, the little black's plan was half successful. You stopped the Kier monster from calling the roll call. Its head and throat were burned by the bomb you used. Kier, you also turned on the music at a high volume. The classmates noticed and turned back to talk. You rung quickly Li Xiaohei Lao to slam the door. Stop the monster outside. His whole body was shaking with fatigue. His face was also pale at this time. The music can drown out the sound it makes raw. People are still jumping from the windows, and you're exhausted like this. Probably can save everyone. Maybe besides me raw right now. The monster outside has started to use a shovel banging on the door. Li Xiaohei used his body to block the door. The monster was still trying to find a way to open the door, entering the classroom. Xiaohei was really exhausted at this time. His sweat was dripping, face like about to faint, asking himself, "Everyone ran away, right? I have to leave quickly." His vision gradually narrowed. "I'm so dizzy. The reasoning has consumed almost all of his strength. My spirit is about to not be able to take it anymore." Then everything in front of him was fading. It seemed like he was about to faint. His body was too heavy to keep up. Little black spirit point was only one. He was trying his best to get. His body was tired of mine toward the window. The monster is about to rush in, and I can't go anymore. Remorsefully, I will also be scared. It's really early to know what to do as a hero. He looked at his two hands. But if I repeat it again? Eyes also blurred, hands kept shaking. But if it repeats again, you will probably still enter. At the critical moment, suddenly a hand reached out and called your name. Little Black gave his hand to me. Is Lam Thino. She came forward to support his heavy body and said, "Let's jump out." The two of them walked towards the window and prepared to climb up. Lam Thina supported Lai Tiu Hak. Help, he climbed up the window with me. The two of them jumped down together and landed safely. Everyone standing in the schoolyard, looking up at the sky together. Everyone looked scared. Li Xiaohei was still very tired. Can't lift my head. He breathed a sigh of relief. I did it, I really did it. I saved everyone. I saved everyone. Little Black smiled and looked towards Lam Thino. Just now helped her. Standing beside her now trembling nonstop. Xiaohei thought she would be happy to escape alive. But unexpectedly she had such an expression, making him very surprised and had to let out a cry. The gate in the sky is opening wider and wider. It dyes the sky a strange red. The door has opened all. The monsters from that door are constantly appearing. Countless extremely hideous creatures, disgusting, falling down on the city. Li Xiaohei looked at the seven gods. The previous calamity just passed, another calamity came. Countless monsters came out to attack and were finished. Countless ghosts are falling down on the city. The door is open. Li Xiaohei looked at the chaotic scene around him. The whole are all demons, like everyone else. All are ordinary people who have not yet awakened. Everyone was scared and stood there frozen. Are we all going to die? Suddenly a halo of light appeared under their feet. The circle grew larger and larger, enveloping everyone. They wondered what this was. Lai Tiu Hai put his hand on the circle and was happy. Is it a Sao barrier? Could it be? Several demons outside rushed to attack the barrier world. But all were stopped. Everyone was safely protected inside. The Hunter Association has arrived. At this time a female voice spoke to everyone. Stay inside the barrier. The captain is coming then. Everyone will be saved. Her name is Bachlin. She is using space to move. To maintain the barrier, protect everyone. Bachlin is a level 1 hunter. Little Black is very happy to see that. Congrats. Great, everyone is saved. But because the barrier is quite crowded, so everyone is constantly pushing each other. Little Omen can only shout, "Don't push me anymore." But it seems like too late. Deem was pushed and fell back. She fell down and flew out of the barrier. Li Xiaohei quickly turned around and looked extremely worried and cried out. She fell out of the barrier. Lin Thina saw her best friend was about to be in danger. Can't hold back the tears, calling the name of the Omen. The classmates are also bustling at this time. Who goes save her? If you leave the barrier, you will die. What about the hunters? Can you save her? Bachlin is by your side. Kier is using all her strength to maintain the barrier. So she can't move. Even the barrier is about to fail. Shakingly sat up, intending to run into the barrier. But it really can't. There was a demon that discovered her. The Omen weakly cried out, AI, save me. Her tears were about to flow. The omen glanced to the side. Before she could do anything, she was hit by a great force, dragged away a demon with the body of a praying mantis. There were 3 heads that jumped over, used its huge mouth to bite the middle of the body of the demon, making her unable to resist any longer. Li Xiaohe made his teeth look at the demon. Then he looked around inside the world. Xiaohe discovered a big pair of scissors on the ground. He picked up the scissors and prepared to rush out, running and shouting loudly, "Let her go." Omen on the other side only has the last breath left to cry out for help. Li Xiaohe, holding the big scissors, looked at her, shouting loudly to calm down and try hard. Bachlun's voice rang out again. The barrier has gradually weakened and can't be helped. The barrier is currently decreasing gradually dissipated. Bachlun was extremely worried. The barrier once evanescent. Her voice was weak. Her whole body was about to lose all strength. Her eyebrows furrowed and said, "Everyone here will die." In a critical moment, then in the sky, suddenly a snowstorm appeared. Everyone turned to ask each other if it was going to rain. A light suddenly flashed, attracting the attention of the 3-headed mantis demon. Just now it was small snowflakes. Now it's icebergs falling to the ground. All the demons were frozen. This is an S-rank focused attack skill. Infinite ice formation. Little Black stood there looking up at everything that happened. His face darkened. He stood before the 3-headed demon Kier. It was also frozen. Along with that, the omen was also frozen. Theo. At this time, all the barriers had also disappeared. A young man's voice rang out. White CA reported to the association branch. He, with cold temperament, slowly walked forward. The one who froze all the monsters here was him. Batch CA reported to headquarters. The university village in the suburbs of the city was successfully destroyed by the monster raid. Everyone saw monster. All the creatures were destroyed, then extremely happy and cheered. Another hunter has arrived. The monster was defeated to wonderfully. Oh my god, in a blink of an eye. Killed in a blink of an eye all monsters. They were extremely admiring as they walked towards Bai CA. Only Little Black was hands were clenched into fists. Bai CA calmly told everyone. The monsters were dealt with. Everyone was saved. Batch CA was about to say something more when was punched in the face by Tiu Hack. He angrily went to grab his collar and scolded. He didn't see a person outside the barrier. Sao is an omen. She was frozen with the demon Kier. Everyone heard him say that. Then all looked forward. Zhao He continued to blame. You also killed her. Everyone present was extremely sorry. Lin Thi Na Kong holding back tears before the departure of his friend. Batch CA was beaten and immediately looked up information. Analyzing the hunter of Tiu Hack, he was still extremely angry. Holding his collar and refusing to let go, Ra continued to scold. You clearly know that there is someone outside the barrier, but you still OT attack. You intentionally killed her, right? Batch CA finished reading Little Black's information, then laughed coldly. Ha, I thought I dared to speak so boldly. Then it was a person, never been in a war before. He coldly asked to rescue each person. Sao. I have been a hunter for many years. Even in my dreams, I wouldn't dare to dream of something as beautiful as this. So. After saying, he grabbed the hand that was holding his collar hack, then froze his legs and continued speaking. If I can't kill everyone in a flash, the barrier is broken, then the monsters will rush to attack you. Everyone will die. Save one person or save more than 1,000 people. Do you know the score? Zhao He still wants to argue. But just in case, there's still a way. Batch CA smiled faintly and called him a kid's son. Wait until you have the ability to make a choice and evaluate my way of doing things. After saying that, he turned around and left. Batch Lin gathered the remaining team members here to close the door together. Otherwise, the monsters will not stop staying there. Yes, Captain returned to school. The classmates in the class are extremely grateful to Zhao He. Zhao He thanks you for saving us. What you did was great. Everyone happily came forward and put their arms around you. That's right, Little Black. If it weren't for your reminder, we would have died long ago. Our class is lucky to have you. You're really good. You're our hero. A classmate said. Batch CA. Whatever you say. Captain Kier is too cold. He saw the omen as a monster and killed them. But if the dead person at that time was not an omen, then it is possible that it will be us. Zhao Hai's mood is still very bad. He spoke up. No, can't blame him. I was too agitated just now. He's not wrong. He's the hero. He saved us. He's worried about the whole situation, but if there is can, I hope that each of us have the right to continue living. You remember the way Bai Xie looked at you at that time. Next time I want to have the ability to choose Li. Little Black is determined, so I want to become a hunter. A better hunter than him. Many years ago, the university village on the outskirts of the city, there were countless cases of student suicides. Students were no longer surprised. That year, school violence occurred continuously. Many students had seen or experienced that terrible and tragic school violence. But what makes people surprised is, that year the police and the school seemed to receive no calls for help from any student, which students suffered from school violence. This also indirectly encouraging the actions of bullies. School violence is getting more and more serious. At that time, the only way for the bullied person to seek help is only their teachers. Unfortunately, teachers are all indifferent to that. Become the thing that destroys students' last fragile hope. National Hunter Association, Tenhai City Branch, investigated and speculated that the origin of this monster are the ghosts of students who committed suicide. The last person, but I just met them before I died, are the cold teachers. Therefore those ghosts condensed into a ferocious monster, has the form of a teacher, then appears in the real world. So the teacher is a monster that appears at the demon door. This time its countless clones will simultaneously come to 340 classrooms and be a university study in the university village simultaneously in a short period of time. Kill a large number of students, then start opening the sea-level door. Release a large number of monsters behind the door. The news just then is the whole event of the monster appearing. This time, Little Black is sitting on the sofa watching TV and thinking. S-class monster appears. Compared to life, the sadness and lack of vitality of me, it's really too dangerous. Then he picked up the phone and opened it raw. After that day, school gives students a week off to rest at home. Little Black opened the message of the class group. Rossi, you are no exception. In the class group, everyone kept praising you, because thanks to you they saved a life. Zhao He just read those compliment messages, thinking and asking himself, I am a Sao hero. Suddenly woke up. Your phone shows a notification from the Hunter Association. Hello, Little Black F-Level Awakener. Your allowance this month has been transferred to your account. Please pay attention to check draw. You open the raw system. Your personal information appears on it. Strength 13, Agility 11, Physique 7. Law without spirit 100 years 8. State not awakened. You read the last line and felt a little sad. I'm just a low-level awakener. Even I got this level of pressure through cheating. Little Black raised his hand, started to unbutton shirt, revealing a necklace on his chest. 15 years after his mother went missing, he also lost his source of living. To continue his studies, he could only rely on the necklace his mother left behind, pretending to be a forced awakening with the Hunter Association. Although unable to become a hunter, but can receive a small monthly allowance for awakening, he held the string around his neck and took out a piece of paper. This is a divine necklace. It can open up a small space. Store about 21 grams of objects inside. For the awakened person, you are just a person without any ability. Fortunately, it is not the association's machine test raw. He looked at what he had just taken raw from the necklace. A little sad. This necklace and this photo is the only thing that mother left for him. Although mother's face in that photo was cut off for no reason, he looked at the photo on his hand that had a corner torn off. Now he can't even recall getting mother's face again. Mother. This is strange, but besides Ra's face, all the memories of his childhood with his mother, along with the warmth of his family, are all engraved in his heart. Except the night his mother was missing. His memory was gone after waking up. His mental strength far exceeded that of ordinary people. A week ago after the monster attack, he rested for an evening. His mental strength not only recovered to its original state, but the total value also increased from 100 years 7 to 100 years 8. I don't know why. He suddenly received the ability of the deduction system. This seems unrelated to awakening. You are still an unawakened person. Little Black said. This era does not favor awakened people, but there are only a few awakened people, elite and have suitable fighting ability. Suitable, can become a hunter to kill monsters. He thought about it for a whole week. He looked at the phone on the table. Now, he decided to apply to join the Hunter Association. Officially become a hunter hunt, but not to become a hero, but just to improve your own strength through each battle. Like that, next time, maybe you can save the person you want to save. Moreover, you heard, Hunter Association can look up many lost documents. The higher the hunter level, the more authority. So maybe later, you can find your mother. The scene was transferred to the Hunter Association, Tenhai branch. A voice rang out. Excuse me, a staff member with a rather sad face. Go and inform Zhao He. I have to cancel the application to become a hunter of brother. Hunters have very few awakenings lower than B level. Monster killing missions are not child's play. Zhao He felt embarrassed when he heard that, scratched his head, and smiled at the Kier staff, then thought of something else in his head. Actually, the purpose of my coming here today is, I not only have to become a hunter. His expression became serious, and he began to think. Moreover, he also wants to become the best hunter. System notification enters deductive state. Deductive countdown time 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Little Black smiled and scratched his head. Like this, the purpose of my coming here today is determine and reevaluate my ability level. Although the deduction system, is not checked by the machine Ra, but as long as you deduce the future Ra, within 10 minutes, heard the request of the Little Black, puffed, and told him to go follow her. But I advise you not to hold too much hope. Ability of the awakened person usually will not suddenly change. Zhao He go according to Fei Fei you think. You can tell the result, let her know. You can easily test your ability. At most, a few more times is too simple. Was smiling when suddenly his eyes stopped. In front as the group of Batch CA is coming. Batch CA is receiving submission. D-rank mission. Immediately act within 30 seconds to go to the scene. Everyone around. When he saw Batch CA's group, couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Zhao He now realized he wondered. Is Batch CA Sao they have Sao mission? Saying that means he is very welcome when they passed each other. BCHCA turned back to glance at TUHCC. This made him extremely surprised. He was looking at him. Why does he still remember me? The two passed each other. BCHCA immediately spoke up to mock TUHCC Black. After speaking, CA just snorted and continued walking. Little Black stood there, his face black with anger. He was red with anger, shouted, and was a bit too excited, causing Show Fi Fi to stop him. I'm so angry I want to fight that guy. Don't he can kill you easily. At this time the system prompts the count. The time to deduce is 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Fi Fi leads the way. Little Black following behind couldn't help but speak out curiously asked. The evaluation room is in front. Sister Fi Fi, if someone can predict the future, within 10 minutes, what level will it be evaluated? Fi Fi heard that question and glanced at it in wonder. Zhao He continued to speak. At least C level or S level level. Is it more powerful than that by CA? Fi Fi frowned and said to the new soldier. You really don't understand anything about this hunting industry and the situation of this world.